It's just so blatantly obvious that it frustrates the hell out of me that either people do not notice or do not agree that we're being sprayed like bugs from these chemtrails. I've literally gotten laughed at a couple of times trying to point it out to people. So can you please explain to the listeners and to the naysayers what we are seeing in the sky all around the world, and from what you know, what is in these trails?
Well, they contain things like barium, strontium, aluminium are the most part what's in these things. But we're finding desiccated erythrocytes, dried red blood cells, all sorts of stuff in the aerial spraying. But this aerial spraying is going on. The governments admit to it. They call it geoengineering. You can go
Right.
and Google House of Commons report on geoengineering. It's a paper that was put out a few years ago by the House of Commons in England, where they absolutely identified geoengineering as being a reality. They've just admitted it in the UN recently that they are actually conducting aerial spraying. There's all sorts of reasons for it. They'll tell you that they're doing it to combat climate change. There's people that will tell you they're doing it to improve cell phone reception. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons they come up with while they're doing it. But you cannot deny they are doing it because it is admitted that they are doing it. In America, they call it climate remediation. In England, they call it geoengineering, but they are actually spraying the skies. Yes, this is confirmed. It's not a debatable point. The question is what is in the sprays. And like I said earlier on, if you do soil tests, I mean, I've got a microscope here, and we've done tests, and we've found things, like I said, barium, strontium, aluminium, in cases, dried red blood cells, nanotechnology, all sorts of stuff is in there. So this is all part, I believe, of the genetic modification that's happening on this planet. You look at Ray Kurzweil in his film Transcendent Man. Now, this is a mainstream film, mainstream documentary about this great future they're going to create. He talks about the fact that soon everything will be intelligent. Rocks, trees, plants, everything will be infused with nanotechnology. This is what they plan on doing. They're planning on doing this without the consent or agreement of the people. They're just going to do it. They're just going to infuse everything with nanotech, whether you want to be infused with it or not. This is the way we're going because this is our future, so the scientists say, and so that is the way they're taking us. Now, this is admitted to. So go get Ray Kurzweil's film Geoengineering. You'll hear him say this. They're going to infuse everything with nanotech. Now, if they're going to infuse everything with nanotech, how would they do that? What would be the delivery system they could use to infuse the entire world with intelligent nanotechnology? Aerial spraying is the only way that can be done, and that is exactly what they're doing.
Oh, my God. This summer, Max, was so bad. I'd come outside on a hot day, and everything would look like tinted gray. I'd look up, and there'd be a haze, like blocking the sun. Then, sure enough, there'd be a bunch of expanded lines going every which way all over the sky. You know, it's just, it's so crazy that people, you know, don't acknowledge this. Like, I have arguments with people, which, you know I shouldn't, but it's just so frustrating, you know, that people have the audacity to argue that they're contrails. I mean, are you kidding me? A 10-year-old would know the difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know why people can't see this for what it is. I mean, contrails, condensation trails, that's what they are, condensation. These are ice particles.
Right.
You know, you get hot air come out of the exhaust of the plane. It blends with the cold air, and it creates these ice particles. You got the hot air comes out. It comes out as steam. It melts the ice. The ice turns into steam. Then the steam turns back into ice, and it creates this trail of ice particles.
Right.
And then it gradually dissipates as the ice particles fall into warmer air, because once they turn into ice particles, they become heavier than air, obviously, so they fall into the warmer air and they dissipate. This is why contrails happen. Lasting contrails are not ice particles, because ice particles, simply by the fact that it's condensation, as soon as these become ice, so that you can see them, they become a solid and they fall into the warmer air, they have to dissipate.
Right.
That's the way it goes. This is the way a contrail works. If it isn't dissipating when it falls into the warmer air, then it's not ice particles, it's chemicals.
Right.
That's it. End of debate. And all of this science, lasting contrails, all this stuff that you're seeing there, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. This is pseudoscience. Contrails, condensation, ice, that's it. Ice is heavier than air, it falls to the warmer air and it dissipates. That's it. End of debate.
That's it.
You know?